I'm not trying to fill her shoes. It would be a mistake to even attempt to fill her shoes.
You not even fought a corporator election before this, leave alone an MLA election. Bansuri Swaraj, the person, who is she?
It is the question of the Honorable Chief Minister sort of building this very ostentatious and very grand bungalow for himself out of public money. There's a long list. So I don't think that the Aam Aadmi Party is a love of Delhi. I know that they're the greatest heartbreak of Delhi.
We've seen two BJP prime ministers in this country. There was Atal Vajpayee, there's Narendra Modi, of course, right now. What is the difference that you see between these two leaders?
Virasat bhi and Vikas bhi. It's not just a slogan. On one hand, you have a very grand Rama Mandir being built. And on the other hand, you have Chandrayaan 3, India becoming the first nation to land on the South Pole of the Moon.
She's among the most unexpected candidates from the BJP, a Lok Sabha nominee, Lok Sabha seat, New Delhi constituency, no less, which is a very, very important, powerful constituency in itself. But a relative newbie, I have with me Bansuri Swaraj, Sushma Swaraj's daughter, and we even heard stories of how Sushma ji used to sort of even leave meetings to go and pick her up from the bus stop at school when she was a kid. Of course, now she's all grown up and all set to get into electoral politics for the first time. And how does it feel, Bansuri? And there's a lot of chatter about a relative newbie, even within the BJP, getting into electoral politics for the first time, and you not even fought a corporator election before this, leave alone an MLA election, facing the voter. So there's a lot of curiosity about you. Let me start with asking you about Bansuri Swaraj, the person. Who is she?
Thank you very much, Aditi ji. It's such a pleasure being on your podcast with you. Bansuri Swaraj, the person. Okay. I'm a daughter who is a distillation of her parents' value. I'm a disciplined Karyakarta of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm a very proud Bharatiya who believes in the vision of a Viksit Bharat.
Okay, that's a very that's a very formal statement. I want to know the real you. What makes Bansuri Swaraj tick?
Two things. Loves being in court, arguing in court. So I love my job. I love being a lawyer. And second, in politics, I love connecting with people. I think the best comes out when I am in a part of Jan Sampark. When I'm able to connect with people, I think that's what makes me tick.
Okay. You've been a lawyer for several years.
Yes.
You're a reputed Supreme Court lawyer.
Thank you.
And that's one of the things you say you love. Obviously, now that you're into politics, your time given to law will go down. How will that work out?
No, not necessarily. मैं वकील हूँ, हम तो दिहाड़ी के मजदूर हैं. कोर्ट तो जाना पड़ेगा, वरना रोटी कैसे कमाऊंगी? I think also we women, we're naturally born multitaskers and brilliant at time management. It's just a question of managing your time well, and you'll be able to do everything.
So what do we expect from Bansuri, the politician?
Somebody who is not going to shy away from actually raising the voice of the people unhesitatingly. Somebody who will not shy away from actually being with the people. See, I know you think I'm a newbie, but I'll be very honest. मेरी संघ आयु 24 वर्ष की है. I actually started my career as a ABVP Karyakarta. I'm not new to the process of actually being in public service. Of course, there's one aspect of seeing my mother in it. I can't take away from that. I've obviously seen the kind of brilliant politician that she was, a people's person, a people's minister. But having said that, personally, I've had a vast experience of actually being in some form of service at multiple levels. Even in law, I've always been in hardcore litigation. And I've worked in trial court, high court and Supreme Court. मेरे यहाँ तो सबसे ज़्यादा खपत टिश्यू बॉक्सेस की होती है. तो मेरे पास ज़्यादातर लोग ऐसे आते हैं जिनको मदद की ज़रूरत होती है. I'm very well and very habituated in that aspect. And as far as being a Karyakarta of ABVP or even working with the Sangathan, I've had a long tenure of working with the people. And formally, of course, as part of the co-convener of BJP Delhi Legal Cell, then being a secretary of the Delhi BJP, I've had the opportunities of actually connecting and working on the ground.
Okay, give us. Okay, we've not seen you do that. You obviously worked with the people, but talk to us about certain instances that you remember where you're saying your people skills, you're connecting with the people skills. You really realize that okay, this is what I love doing.
You know, when you see the twinkle in their eye, when you go and actually talk to them, when you're able to sort of, even when you're giving a speech, you'll find me, I'm never on the stage. My style of connecting with people is I always take the mic and I'm actually among the people. I don't like that distance. मैं यहाँ नेता बनने नहीं आई हूँ. I'll be very honest. I don't like the formality of stages. I don't like the formality of swagat. When I'm actually able to connect with people down on a one-to-one sort of level, that is what ignites that fire in me as well. And I think that also translates in a better connection with them. As far as you are asking instances, I think why don't you actually go and speak to the people rather than me sitting here? I think that just sort of shows hubris of a different level.
Fair point. Fair point. Well taken. Tell me how you saying that you love connecting with people, and that twinkle in their eye when something works out. That courtroom, where you're saying you've largely been in litigation. What are the kind of cases that you've taken that really make you feel that you are sort of doing the right thing, that you're in the right profession? I'm talking about your legal career, not your political career.
As far as my legal career is concerned, it's been an eclectic mix. It's been an eclectic mix of everything from criminal law to startup law to doing sometimes matrimonial cases, which I don't enjoy very much. I'll be very honest. I hate child custody cases.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do need to.
But they're difficult to navigate.
They're very difficult. Yeah. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy them the most. But yes, I do a lot of criminal work. I do a lot of startup work. I do a lot of contractual disputes. I think also when you sort of translate into Supreme Court practice, then your practice automatically becomes an eclectic mix. Because in Bharat, we don't have the idea of a niche practice. You're able to do more of a niche practice if you are practicing before tribunals or, let's say, a different fora. In Supreme Court, it needs to be a mixed bag. Regarding what kind of work I like, every kind of work. As long as I get an opportunity to argue in court, I'll be very honest. Of course, drafting, filing is part of the game, but being at the podium is definitely something that I really enjoy.
Okay. That, of course, we will, of course, see more of you doing that more when you are, you've already started doing it, and when your political career, as it elongates, as we go on, I'm sure we'll see more of that. But tell me, talking about politics, the first thing that comes to mind is your mother, Sushma Swaraj. Very, very tall shoes to fill. Both as a politician with a mass connect, as well as a minister who connected. I mean, her stint as foreign minister is something that people still swear by.
Of course.
So what is it when she reached out directly to people to provide them help? Very, very difficult shoes to fill, don't you think?
I'm not trying to fill her shoes. It would be a mistake to even attempt to fill her shoes. मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि भगवान ने माँ का वो खांचा बनाकर तोड़ दिया. There can only be one Sushma Swaraj. But Ma invested a lot of herself in me. As all children, I'm also a distillation of her values. With her blessings, I definitely want to be the best version of Bansuri Swaraj. So I don't take that pressure on my shoulders at all. And also, can I tell you, she was a brilliant human being, an amazing politician. But जितनी अच्छी वो राजनेत्री थी, उससे 100 गुना अच्छी वो माँ थी.
That's like I can see that emotion in your face, in your eyes at this moment. Tell me, how does this, what is that one thing that you learned from Sushma ji that you hope to emulate in public life?
Tremendous amount of self-confidence, tremendous amount of dignity, uncompromising ethics, and also, she gave me a guru mantra that has liberated from all kinds of pressure. She was a great Krishna Pasika. In fact, my name has been kept Basuri because Krishna ki sabse priya vastu. She used to always say, या तो अधरों पे रखते थे या पीताम्बर में खोस लेते थे. इसलिए कृष्ण की सबसे प्रिय वस्तु पे उन्होंने मेरा नाम रखा. I think the most important thing that she taught me was everything is Krishna Kripa. So stop sweating it. Stop worrying about it. कर्म करो, बाकी सब हो जाएगा. देख लेंगे. कृष्ण देख लेंगे.
And between your father and your mom, you've had a full box of public and political life. Have you ever thought that maybe that's not the way you wanted to grow up in the public glare?
Never. I'm an only child. Do you have siblings or I?
I'm one sibling, yes.
Okay, so you will not know this, but if you're an only child, you become your parents' pet project. And what I must give them due credit. They invested a lot of themselves in me. And it's never about the quantity of time. It's always about the quality of time. My poor father has suffered every Founder's Day, whether I was playing an orange or a tree in the school play. My mother stood in line 3 times a year for 12 years, come hail or high water, to take my report card personally. And I can tell you, I never ever felt wanting that my parents should not be in it. Also, I think children are very resilient. It's about conditioning.
Right.
That's it. It was very natural for me.
And have you ever come across any of the people, let's say, who've been helped by your mother during her stint as foreign minister?
Yes.
How was that experience? Take us through
Humbling, overwhelming. I must tell you, I am indebted for and so grateful for the kind of affection that is being showered on me. Every step of the way, I would say on a daily basis, I meet people that she helped out in some capacity or another. Not just as the foreign minister of the country, but even when she was the health minister of the nation.
Yes.
She helped a lot of people. I think compassion, thy name, was Sushma Swaraj.
One instance that stands out probably in your mind when you're talking to me right now about the kind of response you got from these people. Anything that they told you that stuck with you?
Oh, everything. I mean, there have been so many instances. Families have called me. When I go for Jan Sampark, I meet people. People will tell me, your mother did this for us, your mother did that for us. I would just say overall, it is just this overwhelming sort of wave of love and affection that I'm receiving. To pinpoint one sort of instance would be, I think, unfair to sort of share on a public platform. I know that some families have, that she sort of went out of her way and helped. They've also called me, and it's been very kind. Let's just stick with that. I don't want to divulge it.
All right. Let's move to the slightly political part of the interview, and let me ask you. We've seen 2 BJP prime ministers in this country. There was Atal Bihari Vajpayee. There's Narendra Modi, of course, right now. What is the difference that you see between these 2 leaders?
I think they're complementary. They're extremely complementary. Atalji was leading a coalition government, but he still laid down a very strong foundation for a Viksit Bharat. And of course, Narendra Modi ji, the Honorable Prime Minister, has led a full majority government for the second time. That gives you more leverage, that gives you more capacity to sort of build a strong Bharat. And that is why he has taken the sankalp of a Viksit Bharat, which I know that he's going to translate from a vision to a reality. But there is no difference. I would say that they are 2 personalities that are completely complementary.
Complementary personalities. You met Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I'm sure, recently. What is your worldview, or not worldview, right? How do you perceive Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Something that I am very influenced by is how he's leveraging technology. He is a Prime Minister who's probably more millennial than us. He's more Gen Z than all of us. And I really like the fact that he's very up to date. the whole aspect of Virasat Bhi or Vikas Bhi, it's not just a slogan. You actually see it translated on the ground. On one hand, you have development of the Kashi Vishveshwar temple. You have Mahakal corridor being developed. You have a very grand Rama Mandir being built. And on the other hand, you have Chandrayaan 3, India becoming the first nation to land on the south pole of the moon. Today, you just saw this mammoth project, 3 units of semiconductors being set up by the Prime Minister, saying that Bharat will become a global leader in semiconductors. This sort of, I would say, synthesis of our virasat, of our tradition, as well as keeping up with technology and a new worldview is something that I'm tremendously influenced by.
Your mother was one of the people who opposed Prime Minister Modi's candidature as Prime Minister way back. And many in the BJP, we've heard, were surprised when you came in as a candidate. How do you feel about that?
I think that is an unfair question. It's not about opposing anybody's candidature. I think you're forgetting that she served in the same cabinet as his foreign minister, and they had a tremendous relationship. On a personal level, I'm saying this as a daughter. The way the Honorable Prime Minister stood by our family during my mother's illness, and the way the Sangathan and the Prime Minister stood by my family after Krishna stole Ma in August 2019, that is a debt I will not be able to repay in this lifetime.
What do you see yourself, how do you see yourself rising in politics? You've already risen as a lawyer, you've achieved a certain stature. What path do you see for yourself in what political career? And then I will come to your constituency, your New Delhi constituency, of course.
Aditi, I'll be very honest, I'm not concentrating on rising. It's never about sort of breaching the stratosphere. It is about one step at a time, doing your job, and that is all that is in your hands. Action is the only thing you can control. Results, you'll be a fool and a half to think that you can actually influence or control the results. So all I'm concentrating in is on my karma, and that's all. Rest, I am not concentrating on or even bothered about at all.
You're being fielded from a very prestigious New Delhi constituency. You don't have much active experience of interacting with voters as I started with, at a municipal level, at a ward level, you've started doing it now, but that your opponents have a much larger breadth of experience as far as interacting with voters is concerned. What challenges do you see on your way ahead?
I would like to ask my detractors, you think it's my first election, what if it's my 12th? Because 11 elections were actually contested by Ma. To say that I do not have experience of interacting with voters would be probably underestimating me. And I don't think the opposition should make that mistake.
You're going to go up against Somnath Bharti, 4-time MLA. He's been there, done that, a very experienced face in the New Delhi stratosphere, so to speak. How do you think you can? Will you be able to topple his apple cart? What's your sense?
His apple cart is empty.
Okay.
Unfortunately, his apple cart is empty. देखिए, इसका बहुत सिंपल सा जवाब है. बाबा सोमनाथ का आशीर्वाद ना नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ है. सामने कोई भी सोमनाथ खड़ा हो जाए, फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा.
सामने कोई भी सोमनाथ हो जाए, खड़ा हो जाए, फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. But what are the issues you're going to go to the people?
So I'll tell you. I believe in very positive politics, and that is why you will not find any sort of personal attacks from my side in this campaign at all.
Not true for the other side, though. The personal attacks have already begun, and I'm going to come to that later.
Yeah, that's their sanskar. That's not my value system. What we are going to talk to people about is definitely Modi ki guarantee. Modi ki guarantee, जो सारी guarantee पूरी होने की guarantee है. A 10-year report card. 2 aspects to it. First, whatever was in our manifesto, each and every promise has been fulfilled. Whether it is construction of a Ram temple, whether it is bringing the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam and bringing 33% reservation in favor of Matra Shakti of India, in both in Parliament as in Vidhan Sabhas, or whether it is abrogation of Article 370. Each and every promise enunciated in the manifesto has been fulfilled. And on the other side is, of course, the whole vision of Viksit Bharat. Things like over 10 crore Ujjwala gas connections, or things like actually bringing sort of tap water to homes for almost 14 crore people. The whole aspect of bringing 25 crore people out of multidimensional poverty. All of this is something that we are going to take to the voter. And I'll tell you, the voter is very, very intelligent. There is unwavering commitment of the people of Bharat, not only in the vision of Viksit Bharat of PM Modi, but also in the guarantee of PM Modi.
Okay, you will go forward with a positive agenda. The opposition obviously is going to poke holes in that. You're going to talk about Ujjwala or toilets or semiconductors, but the opposition talks about unemployment, rising unemployment, fudged GDP data, and so on and so forth. How do you see that panning out? Because there is going to be a lot of negative campaigning, and if you're obviously putting your positive foot forward, but there is a negative side to it, which maybe the opposition is doing it, but you'll have to combat it.
They're not doing a very good job. Very respectfully, the opposition is in a complete disarray because there is no commonality of ideology, there is no commonality of agenda, and they are so myopic in their view. It is just about self-interest. And whenever any kind of coalition or Gathbandhan is sort of hinged or wedged on self-interest, then I'll tell you, Rashtrahit and Rashtradharma, they actually take a backseat. I'll give you a very simple example. What happened with our sisters in Sandesh Khali? What happened in Delhi, where an Aam Aadmi Party leader was accused of a POCSO case against him, of basically misbehaving with the daughter of another Aam Aadmi Party worker, minor daughter. Nobody spoke, neither the Congress Party nor the Aam Aadmi Party. Their silence is only reflective of the fact that they're so busy just sort of taking care of their coalition dharma that they're not caring about what is in the good interest of the nation. And therefore, I'll be very honest, any kind of criticism that they are raising right now, very respectfully, it is nothing but cacophony.
Aam Aadmi Party is supposed to be Delhi's, love as far as electoral politics goes. How are you going to detract from that?
I don't think they're a love for Delhi. I think they're a heartbreak for Delhi. And I think Delhi's people have sort of really woken up and wisened up. They really realize this is a party that they elected on an anti-corruption plank. But the Aam Aadmi Party today is sort of drowning in corruption from head to toe. There is a long list that I can canonize here, whether it is the liquor ghotala, whether it is the spurious drug ghotala, whether it is the fake pathological test ghotala, whether it is the question of the Honorable Chief Minister sort of building this very ostentatious and very grand bungalow for himself out of public money. There's a long list. I know that the people of Delhi are extremely disillusioned by his corruption and his constant U-turn. टेल मी, एक मुख्यमंत्री जो शपथ खाते थे अपने बच्चों की कि मैं कभी कांग्रेस के साथ गठबंधन नहीं करूंगा, लेकिन बाद में जाके कांग्रेस के साथ गठबंधन कर लेते हैं, जनता का विश्वास तो उनके ऊपर से उठेगा ही ना. So I don't think that the Aam Aadmi Party is a love of Delhi. I know that they're the greatest heartbreak of Delhi.
3 consecutive times Chief Minister, yet you say that?
Of course.
Do you think he will be 4th time Chief Minister now?
Just wait and see what happens in 2025.
All right, we'll wait and watch what happens. Do you see yourself as a chief ministerial contender? I know you're standing for the MP's position, but do you ever see yourself as a your mom was
not.
Your mom?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll tell you what, I see myself as a karyakarta of the party. And I know that the media sort of likes to make these conjectures and ask you these hypothetical questions. I'm telling you, if I'm elected and I become an MP, I will remain a karyakarta of Bharatiya Janata Party till my last breath. One position that will remain constant in my life, and that will be being a karyakarta of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And that's the end all.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us, Bansuri, because it gives me an insight into you and gives all our viewers an insight into you as a person, because you have the right right mix, so to speak. You have the legacy, you have the lawyer degree, because that is, many of our, big politicians come from a law degree, and they know how to argue their cases. And of course, you're very well spoken. And let's see how this pans out for you.
But I must confess,
yes.
Oxford exams were easier than being on your podcast.
All right. Thank you so much. But thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for watching this podcast. Thank you. I hope you've gotten to know Bansuri a little bit better. I certainly have. And look forward to seeing you in our next podcast. Bansuri, thank you so much.
Yes.
And we will come back to you with more viewers. Stay tuned to Times of India podcasts.